nome é Sara, tenho 23 anos, sou de Lisboa, capital de Portugal, mas neste momento estou a estudar na Holanda, a fazer o mestrado de multilinguismo da Universidade de Groningen.
Отче наш, сущий на небесах, да светится имя Твое, да придет царствие Твое, да будет воля Твоя и на земле, как на небе.
Did you hear the similarities? Hopefully you said yes. If not, that's okay because I'm going to show you why they're so linguistically similar. There are going to be 5 main reasons that we will be basing our similarities on. This will be phonology, vocabulary, syntax, grammar, and then some small miscellaneous things that may or may not fall into the previous categories. After this, we'll give it a rating of similarity at the end of the video, so let's get into it. Now, the main thing that makes two languages sound similar is obviously the phonology, which Russian and Portuguese share a lot of. For reference, here's a phonological chart, first of Russian, second of Portuguese. Now, if you notice the similarities, if any, then something should have stuck out to you. It's the nasalized consonants. A nasal consonant is just like how it sounds. It's a consonant that involves flowing air through your nasal cavity, aka your nose. Alright, quick disclaimer, I do not speak any word of Russian, and I speak Brazilian Portuguese, not European Portuguese, so my pronunciation might be a little bit off, but I'll try my best. Some examples of nasal consonantal words in both languages include mo in Portuguese and mama in Russian. Both languages are also stress-timed, which means that they put a certain stress on a specific part of the word. For example, pront or pronto in Portuguese and krushka, meaning mug in Russian. You also may have heard the nasal vowel in the Portuguese example. Russian doesn't feature nasal vowels because its vowel inventory is relatively simple, but Portuguese has a very vast vowel inventory. This is just a difference that I thought was interesting to point out. Both languages have a similar amount of palatalized consonants, although not the same ones. In fact, the only palatal consonant that they share is ya. So here's an example of a word with that sound in both languages. In Portuguese, we have filho, and in Russian, we have matia. Speaking of vowels before, vowels can also be completely omitted in rapid speech, which gives both similarities a sort of mumbling sound, adding to their similarities. And finally, for our last phonological similarity, we have voiced and voiceless consonants. This is basically when two sounds only differ through using your voice to pronounce them. Some notable ones are b and p, and g and k. For Portuguese, we have barco or bark, meaning boat, and in Russian, we have brat, meaning brother. Alright, now I'm going to give you a list of vocabulary from a variety of different topics. Most of them are similar because of their Indo-European origins, but there's still similarities nonetheless, right? We're going to start from Portuguese to Russian. Computador, computer. Termômetro, termômetro. Professor, professor. Museu, musei. Problema, problema. And a few less obvious ones. Cliente, clientes. Fresco, fresca. Chlorophila, chlorophyll. Why did I add this last one? I don't know, but I thought it looked cool in both languages, so I did anyway. Alright, now let's get into some grammar a little bit and talk about their syntax. Both languages follow subject, verb, object, word order. An example would be I walk home, where I is the subject, walk is the verb, and home is the object. Just to add a bit of fun to the video, let's see another example in both languages. This time the sentence is the cat hunts the mouse. O gato caça o rato. Furthermore, Russian does not use articles. Portuguese does, but it isn't as lenient as in English. For example, eu tenho gato, meaning I have a cat. Isn't mandatory and it translates to a in English. In Russian, it's u mnie jest koszka. Russian also has noun cases. If you're not familiar with this, it's when nouns, verbs, determiners, etc. gain an ending that relates to their purpose in a sentence. This makes Russian's word order very flexible, to which Portuguese is very similar as well. I mean, there's not really much you could say for syntax in general, so this was still pretty similar. Alright, grammar's up next, and because they're Indo-European, they're going to have a lot of similarities. First off, both languages have gendered nouns, and they have adjectives and determiners that agree with those nouns. Unlike English, Portuguese and Russian have extremely complex verb conjugations that reflect on tense, aspect, mood, person, and number. Just in the present tense, you can say in Portuguese, eu falo, tu falas, nós falamos, ele, ela fala, vós falais, and etc. In Russian, you can say Я говорю, вы говорите, он говорит, мы говорим. It's actually insane how one tense can become so complex. They also have similar negation. For example, Portuguese uses no, for example, eu não gosto, while Russian uses ne. Я не знаю. Some quick other ones are the past and imperfect tense. This is basically the English equivalent to I spoke and I was speaking, and the interrogative formation. Word order changes when forming a question. Example in Portuguese, Vais tu viajar? And in Russian, Ты пойдешь в путешествие. Wow, I actually completely butchered that, I already know. Some other small facts you guys should know is that there is very minimal Slavic influence in Portuguese. Some people believe that the word mamãe, mommy, is to have derived from the Slavic languages. So, vocabulary aside, I'd say their main reason for sounding so similar is most likely because of their phonology. So, based on that alone, I'll give a similarity rating of around a 7 out of 10 because once you hear the differences, then you know that they sound completely different. Alright, that's going to be the end of the video. I just wanted to put together another one of these videos because it's fun researching the similarities. And next time I'll try to find two languages that haven't been talked about too much before. In the end, if you know the differences between these two languages, then the differences become more apparent, and it's easier to spot the differences and you probably won't think they're similar. And as always, leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and let me know what you want to see next in the comments below. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next one.